So your 24 valve common rail Cummins won't start. That's gonna be expensive. But not if you do it yourself. Here, let me show you. Okay, so the common rail system in the Cummins, this would pertain to 03 to 07, is not as complicated as you might think. Basically, it is a lift pump supplying a injection pump that pressurizes an entire fuel rail, and the injectors themselves fire off an electric signal. Now, Dodge has never been known to make a decent lift pump, and they've been a variety of problems from the start. This is right back to first gens, and I've told you before, rebuilding those, you know what, if you're getting into it, replace your lift pump. What a pain in the neck when you're by the side of the road, ran out of fuel, or gelled up filter because it's way too cold, and that stupid lift pump won't work. It was horrible for the VP44s. It didn't run enough cool fuel through the pump, and the pumps would get hot. The circuit boards on top of the pump would lose its solder. The solder would actually melt because it got too hot. You got an injection pump for 1,500 bucks. Okay, so this video is basically just for kind of the do-it-yourselfer that has a general knowledge about your Cummins, but don't have the specialty tools. There's just some preliminary checks to do very inexpensively before you bring it to a dealership, because there's just some simple steps to go through that might be able to save you thousands of dollars. This truck was brought in from another mechanic who, the owner is actually a mechanic, which is funny. I'll show you why later. And it will run with a sniff of ether. So that tells me that the computer and the going-ons behind the scenes is okay. It's probably not building up the rail pressure necessary to fire those injectors, which is about, it's got to be over 5,000 PSI. So first thing we want to do is check and make sure that the lift pump is even turning on to begin with. So a simple way to do that is take your fuel cap out and then bump the key, and that will signal the computer to turn your lift pump on, and just listen for the hum coming out of the tank. I hear it. Your lift pump is going to come and go through your filter and feed your injection pump. Now, if there's any discrepancies at all, change your fuel filters, never a bad idea. We're gonna say that we went ahead and did that. Now the line coming out of the injection pump is this one right here on your injection pump. What we're gonna do is just take this banjo fitting off, put a hose on it, and just put it in a pail, make sure that we've got fuel coming out. That doesn't tell you how much fuel, but it's kind of a good indication, okay, is it a steady stream coming out? Is it spitting and sputtering? Am I out of fuel? So let's go ahead and do that. Are you videotaping me using a ratchet and lefty loosey righty tighty? I thought we were the channel that never was gonna do that. Took the banjo fitting out. Just gonna lay a clean rag over top of that pump to make sure that nothing goes in there. So basically I just got this hose, something laying around. You don't have to be too particular, it just needs to fit around that banjo fitting. I'll just put a catch tray underneath. Yeah, of course I'm missing. Yeah, looks like a pretty steady, good stream. Not to say that's perfect, but that's a good amount of fuel coming out. So we're just gonna go ahead and say it's Friday night and your girlfriend's waiting for you to pick her up and you're in a hurry. You're not gonna measure that. You're just gonna say, okay, I got fuel. I'm gonna put that banjo fitting back on again. Something else is wrong. Here we go. Okay, so now we've established that your injection pump is actually getting fuel and it's being told to do something. So we're gonna assume right now that that pump is working fine. They don't generally give a problem, not near as much as the VP44. So we're gonna go to our common rail system here. And this is actually a pressure relief valve, and sometimes these stick open. So if they stick open, the rail is not able to build up the 5,000 PSI because it's all going back to return, and your truck will not start. But if you use a shot of ether, more than likely it will start. So same thing, we can take this fitting off, where it follow the line, and wherever it attaches, take it off, and see if any fuel comes out. If any fuel comes out, that's a bad sign, and more than likely it's stuck open. You can block those off. There is no, technically they're supposed to relieve the pressure at the 27,000 PSI, somewhere around there. But remember that as soon as your injectors are firing, they'll take that pressure away from there. I've only read online that I've never run into a pressure relief valve as of yet, so I'm only going by what I've been told from other mechanics, that they've never seen an issue by blocking that off. Now, we're going to go ahead and assume that that is working properly. We're not going to show you how to take that fitting off because I know that it's okay. Now, we've got 6 injectors, and that's basically the end of the line. Now, each injector returns fuel, and if there's an issue with the injectors, it can return enough fuel that you're not able to build up that 5,000 PSI again. So a simple way to do it is to go to, now I have to, before I say this, I'm gonna do a warning that that common rail pressure system is gonna build up a lot of pressure. What I've done, and it's been good for me, is I just took an old injector line. This is actually off a 6.5 or a 6.2, I believe, and I've welded the end shut. Now, if you're not a good welder, or if you just have a flux core welder, don't do this, because it is dangerous. If fuel sprays out or you have a pinhole, it will go through your skin, and you'll have to cut your finger off because it will get infected. So, with that in mind, be very, very careful. What I'm doing on this test is just eliminating one injector at a time. And what that does is just allows the engine to run on 5 cylinders, but if there's an injector that has a cracked body and is sending all the fuel back to return or dumping it into the engine, then this will find that injector and you know which route to go. You can either replace the one injector, or it might be time to consider replacing all of them at the same time. That's up to you. Depends on how much money you want to spend. But if it's my truck and I'm broke and my wife wants to go on vacation, or there's something else pressing, then I would be okay with just replacing that one injector. So let's see what that looks like and see if it makes a difference. So right now, we'll just crank it over, see if it fires, and then we'll remove an injector and see what happens. Here we go. All right, so we still have a no stick. So let's take one of the injectors and start working your way back and figure out which injector is giving you an issue. So we're going to remove the air horn, and I'm going to decide that it's going to be the second injector. Don't ask me how. So I'm just going to crack this injector line right here, and then take this bolt out, that 10mm bolt out, just so you can move the line a little bit. Then I'm just going to take this line right off, and I'm just cracking it. Just lets me move that line a little bit out of the way. I'll just take my line and put it in place. Knock that up. Put my air horn back, just so it doesn't suck anything in. Now this is your grid heater. I said that this truck started on ether. It's a farmer and a mechanic who owns this, so ether doesn't go too far away when you're running old equipment. It's not a great idea to use ether on these. If this plate gets red hot and the ether can hit that, you can have a kaboom. Best thing with ether is to spray a little bit as someone's turning it over. The issue is if you spray it and then crank it over, whatever cylinder's on the intake stroke gets all the ether all at once. It does a lot of damage to the rings, and all of it's coming through here at the same time. If you use ether, disable your glow plug, or see, when I'm tired, I sometimes call them glow plugs. It's a grid heater. Thank you to those thousands of comments to prove that I'm wrong. The one thing I said wrong. Anyway, disable your grid heater, and that will reduce the chances of risk if you have to get to your date on time. I don't know how romantic of a date it is when you can't shut your truck off or get out and pop the hood and ask her to spray some ether. So we got our intake back on again. Basically, Stay out of the way of this hose. Make sure that nobody is around it. And let's see if it sticks. It runs like shit because it's running on 5 cylinders, but it started on its own. I'm gonna replace that one. I've actually got a rebuilt one coming, and this core is heading back out to get rebuilt. You might get this injector, good for you. I'm not gonna sign it, but anyway, I hope this helped you out. You can run to your girlfriend now. If she says you smell like diesel, you can say, well, yeah, but it's low sulfur and it's only $1 a liter. So, I hope this helps you out, saves you some money. Any comments down below, that's fine. I'll probably review them the day that they come out, but any day after that, it's probably a much better idea to head to our Facebook group. If you're having issues with your truck, I probably won't be able to get to them, and it probably might not be an active video anymore. So check out our Facebook group. There's a whole bunch of people that are smarter than me, willing to help out over there. We've had some good luck over there. Thanks for watching, and happy trails with your girlfriend. And like always, be safe. I'm serious, be safe, guys. Stay away from that hose. What do you think I was saying? Here we go. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you love the channel, consider picking up a tape boss to make those projects go faster so you got more time to watch YouTube. And remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich.